We've all been there, right? Stuck on hold forever,
Right.
wrestling with a chatbot that just doesn't get it.
Oh, tell me about it.
Or even worse, buried in FAQs that have absolutely nothing to do with your actual problem.
The worst.
It's like, come on, do companies even want to help us anymore? You know what I mean?
It really makes you wonder.
Like, they're more interested in getting you off the phone than actually solving anything. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into how to escape that frustrating customer service loop.
That sounds awfully familiar.
We've got some really interesting stuff to dig into. There's this report, it's called Doom Loops, and it takes a really fascinating look at how companies get trapped in this cycle of bad customer service and, more importantly, how to break free.
I've heard of that report.
Have you?
Yeah, it's supposed to be really insightful. And one of the things it really zeroes in on is this over-reliance on AI as a major culprit in all this.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic when you think about it, right?
Totally.
Like, you'd think technology would make customer service better, not worse.
Right, exactly. The problem is that companies often jump headfirst into using AI without really stopping to think about, the human element.
Human touch, yeah.
Exactly. And the report actually gives this great example. So imagine you get a package and the product inside is damaged, right?
Okay, yeah.
A chatbot, it might be able to efficiently, give you a return label or something.
Right.
But what you really want in that moment, what you really need is a human being who understands your frustration. They get it.
For sure.
And they can actually help you find the best solution, whatever that might be, whether it's a replacement, a repair, whatever works.
Yeah, it's like they're missing that, emotional intelligence piece.
100%.
Like, we don't just want a transaction,
Nope.
we want to feel heard, we want to feel understood.
Yeah, we're not robots.
Exactly.
And that's actually where this whole doom loop idea comes in.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So the report argues that when customers feel ignored or like they don't matter, like they're just a number,
Oh, yeah.
they're way more likely to just say, forget it, and take their business elsewhere.
Which makes sense.
Right. And then the company, they've got to spend even more money trying to attract new customers who, let's be honest, they might end up just as frustrated.
Totally. It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly. It's this vicious cycle,
Yeah.
and it can be really hard for companies to break free.
Yeah.
And that's really where this idea of being smarter about how we use AI comes in,
Okay, yeah.
Instead of just thinking of AI as like a cost-cutting measure,
Right.
what if we thought about it more as like building a bridge,
A bridge to what?
A bridge to better human interaction, more meaningful human interaction.
I like that.
Yeah.
So using AI to actually improve the customer experience, not just sweep it under the rug and hope it goes away.
Exactly. And the Doom Loops report, it actually highlights a company that's doing this really well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they found that by using AI to kind of analyze a customer's history, even things like their tone of voice, they could connect that customer with the agent who is the most well-equipped to handle their specific needs.
Oh, that's interesting.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And they actually saw a significant decrease in customer churn, which is huge.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
So, it's not about ditching technology altogether. It's just about being smarter about it.
Using it to empower, not replace.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that empowerment, it actually goes both ways,
How so?
Well, the report also talks about how important it is to give those human agents, the ones who are actually interacting with the customers, the tools and the freedom, the autonomy.
The power, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The power to do their jobs well.
What kind of tools are we talking about? Give me an example.
Well, one that really stuck with me was this concept of a unified platform.
Okay, I'm listening.
So imagine a system where every single interaction a customer has with a company, it's all tracked in one place. Whether they talk to someone on the phone, send an email, messaged on social media, it's all right there.
So no more explaining your issue a dozen times to a dozen different people.
Exactly. That's it. That's the dream, right?
Amazing.
It would be a game changer. And I
Yeah.
actually remember there's this quote from a customer service manager in the report, and it's something like, when my agents have all the information they need right there at their fingertips, he says, they can spend less time digging for data and more time actually connecting with the customer, building that rapport.
Which is what it's all about, right?
Exactly. It totally changes the whole feeling of the interaction.
Yeah, because when you're talking to someone and you feel like they get it, Like they actually understand your history with the company and your frustrations.
Oh, yeah.
That just makes a world of difference.
100%. And the report, they actually argue that in a lot of cases, those moments of genuine human connection, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's what actually builds customer loyalty in the long run.
It really is amazing how much of a difference a little bit of empathy can make.
Oh, it's huge.
Like sometimes all it takes is just that one interaction
Right?
where you feel like the person on the other end of the line actually gets it.
Totally.
And suddenly you're like, okay, I trust this company again.
It can totally turn things around.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like they actually value you as a customer,
Yeah.
not just like you're another number, you know?
Exactly, exactly. And the report actually talks about this. They say companies need to like shift their whole mindset.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It's not enough to just think about customer service as like putting out fires, you know?
Right, right.
It's about building relationships.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a whole different way of looking at it.
Okay, so how do companies actually make that shift, though? Like, what are some actual things they can do?
Well, the report has some really practical advice. One thing they suggest is giving customers choices right from the start.
Okay, like what?
So, for example, making it super easy for a customer to opt for human interaction if that's what they need.
Yes, 1,000 times, yes.
Yeah.
Please, I'm begging you.
Right.
Instead of forcing them down that black hole of automated menus.
Exactly. Nobody wants to listen to that robot voice for an hour.
The worst.
And then when you do get a human on the line, make sure they actually have the power to help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Like the authority to actually solve problems.
Exactly. Give them the training and the freedom, you know.
The autonomy.
Yes. Thank you. The autonomy to actually use their judgment to go off script if they need to.
Because sometimes you need someone to just like bend the rules a little, you know?
100%. And the report highlights this one company that does something really interesting.
Okay, what's that?
So they actually empower their customer service agents to like offer a certain amount of credit or a discount without having to get approval from a manager or anything.
Oh, wow, that's a big deal.
It is. And they found that not only does that make the customer happy because it's like, you know, they're getting their issues solved faster,
Right.
but it also gives the employees the sense of ownership and trust, you know, like,
Yeah.
hey, we trust you to do right by the customer.
Right. It shows that you value your employees.
Yeah.
Which I think then translates to the customer experience. Right?
Exactly. It's all connected. And that's really what it comes down to, this idea of connection. The report, Doom Loops, it ultimately argues that we need to completely reframe how we think about customer service.
It's not just a department.
It's not a necessary evil.
It's so much more than that.
It's an opportunity.
Like that.
It's an opportunity to build relationships, to create positive experiences that actually make people feel good about doing business with you.
It's like put the human back in human interaction.
Exactly. A little empathy goes a long way, and honestly, sometimes that's the most powerful technology we have.
That is such a good point. And on that note, I think we've given our listener a lot to think about today.
Absolutely. It's going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing continues to evolve, you know?
For sure.
Like, how is this relationship between technology and human connection going to shape the future of customer service? It's a really exciting time to be paying attention.
It really is. So to our listener out there, next time you find yourself, navigating the sometimes treacherous waters of customer service.
Oh, I know those water.
Take note of those moments, those human moments, where you feel that genuine connection.
Those are the moments that matter.
That might just make all the difference.
They really might.
Thanks for diving deep with us.